Well, Mr. Anker, this is fun. This is our first time meeting.
Face to face.
Face to face.
Yeah.
But I feel like, yeah, thank you. That'll be good. Yep. But I feel like we've been in the same room before. We just didn't know, we just didn't know of each other. And I'll tell you who reached out to me. Frank Lumpkin.
Oh,
who's
yeah.
a good friend of mine.
Little Frank. I call him Little Frank.
Yeah,
I
that's right.
say that.
No, that's right, because people do get confused with his
Did you go
father.
to Columbus High School?
I did not,
Okay.
but me and Frank were in youth advisory together. And he was a president. He was Frank the president then when I met him.
Well, he's a mover.
He is,
he's
man.
a shaker.
And you know, I'm proud to know Frank, but I'm so honored to know him as a brother as well. Just not forget the friend. I feel like we're just brothers in Christ. And so I love Frank. And he reached out to me and he said, you should interview John. I said, you know what? That might be a great idea. I think I should interview John. And
you know he was working the other end, right?
No, I did not.
Yeah, he texted me. He said, John, I'd really like you to meet this guy, Matthew.
Really?
So it was meant to be.
Okay. Well,
he is a heart guy.
He is.
He's a heart guy.
He is. Mm-hmm. He is. And I think that has a lot to do with his father and his parents, because I've only met his father 2 times now, and he is just as approachable and as kind as Frank is. And I can't wait to see which.
Well, Little Frank's his own man.
Yeah, he is.
He's dynamic and strong in his own way.
Right,
and
right.
He knows where he's going, and he's pushing it.
And you know, he knows what he wants too.
Yeah.
And so I hope that when Interstate 14 takes off, he'll
be a legend.
He on cloud 9 because he's always wanted that.
He's not on cloud 9 right now because he's been doing this for over
years.
10 years probably.
I know.
And he's taking it wears you down.
It does. It
He doesn't quit.
No, he doesn't. That's what I like about him.
It's fun to be with you, man.
It is. It's fun to be with you, and I'm so glad that we're sitting down. But tell me, without the business titles, without the even the husband title, okay, who is John? Take me to who you are.
Well, John doesn't have a title. I don't like titles at Anchor Pack, but John, the heart of John, I'd like to share with you, that I was raised by a mom and a father who instilled good principles in my life.
Yeah,
those principles weren't about this kind of success or that kind. They were on how to. My daddy always told me, son, I'm going to be proud of you as long as you give it your best.
Yeah.
You can be the trash man and be the best darn trash man in the city and live a rich life.
Yeah.
And, I don't say that, except those were the actual words out of my dad's
Sure.
mouth. Because he meant it sincerely. Son, I want you to be a good man. Doesn't matter where you end up. These are the character traits that I want to instill in you. So I think that's John Anker.
Yeah.
In the beginning, and I was sharing with you when I walked in the door something about my family life.
Yeah.
I'm very relational. I'm very one-on-one. I'd rather talk to people, look in the eyes.
Yep.
I'd rather not, talking on the phone is good as well. The further you get away from talking and then you get into texting or emails or some kind of other media, the further away I become to the heart of John Anker. I like to have relationships.
Sure, yeah. You were telling me when you got here that you had breakfast with some older gentlemen, and you're the youngest guy there.
Yeah, I'm 56.
Every morning.
That's right. And
So
2 of the
true.
gentlemen have passed on. And,
Yeah.
It's a very special group to me, and they're mentors. I think I've always kind of liked older men. It's a little strange.
Yeah, I understand that.
My friends laugh at me. You mean every morning? My wife at first didn't like it. I've been doing this for 15 years with these men now. So it's not just
every morning.
Every morning, 5 days a week. Every morning.
Where?
Well, now we're at Plucked Up Chicken.
Okay.
We used to meet at 12th Street Deli.
Wow.
Then we had a small stint at Ruth Ann's, but Mary didn't like us eating off the children's menu, and we're a little tight.
Okay. I usually ask guests what their favorite car is. Is your car that you're driving now, is that your favorite car? Okay,
my car, yeah.
That's my favorite car. The car that you're driving now
my goodness.
is my dream car, GMC. I'm just like you got it. I'm telling you.
You come borrow it anytime you want to. But I'm not guaranteeing the transmission ain't going to fall out tomorrow. It's skipping right now.
Oh, no. So what is your favorite car?
Everybody in Anchor Pack knows my favorite car.
Okay.
And I think it's a 2002 GMC heavy duty 2500. It's got a 454 in it. It's got 305,000 miles on it.
Come on.
Gets about 7 miles to the gallon.
What color?
It's white. It's a work truck.
Okay.
And it's parked indoors.
Okay.
And my son-in-law called this weekend and said, hey, can I borrow the truck? And he went over there. He had to jump start it because it hadn't been cranked in a while.
Okay.
And the radio wouldn't work because the battery had gone dead. And I said, hey, look, when you drive it the first time in a month, it's got an electrical problem in it, and it just cuts off on you riding down the road. And fortunately, it didn't cut off on him. But everybody knows, do not run into John's truck.
Because that's your car.
It's mine.
That's your favorite car.
Anybody can borrow my Tahoe. Not everybody can borrow my truck.
Okay. Let's imagine this. Let's imagine me and you are driving down your childhood street that you grew up on in your favorite truck. Tell me what it was like to be little John.
Oh, man.
What kind of childhood did you have?
Oh, you just blessed my heart. I lived at the end of a paved road, and it turned into a dirt road right in front of my house. I liked riding motorcycles back then, so it gives me chills to think about it. If we were riding in my truck right now,
come on,
we'd be listening to Jason Aldean, a song called Dirt Road.
Okay, come on.
I'd be telling you stories, looking over at the peanut field, which alternates to a cornfield over here that I used to play in. I'd tell you stories about a creek on the right side just through these woods that I escaped running from a farmer who I'd rode my motorcycle across his land. And ran through the creek and got away from him on my motorcycle.
Okay.
And the farmer knew who I was.
So it was fun. You had a great childhood.
I had a good childhood.
Yeah. Did you have like childhood friends or tell me, give me what did it look like? I mean, you gave me the dirt road thing, but did it have a certain smell or did it have a certain vibe to the area?
I want to tell you the smell I remember the most. I like telling this story is I was 13 years old and it was summertime. I just gotten out of school. My daddy said, son, you're going to go to work this summer. You're not going to sit around and play with your friends. I had different friends.
Your dad didn't play all that
around, and he didn't play all that.
Okay.
He said, you're going to learn to work.
Okay.
And I went to work for Mr. Freeman at a flower nursery on the corner of the road that my dad drove down on the way to work at General Motors, Delco Remy. And I got paid $2 an hour. And Mr. Freeman didn't have really much work for me to do, but he said, son, I want you to go in this greenhouse and pull all the weeds underneath the flower boxes. And so I was on my hands and knees like I'm under this table.
Hard labor.
And hot. This is summertime.
Ooh-wee.
And I'd worked a 40-hour week and got off on Friday. And I had a check, and my dad picked me up, taking me home, and I opened the envelope, and it was $80. 40-hour week, $2 an hour, $80.
$80.
And I said, Daddy, I feel like I'm stealing from Mr. Freeman. And he said, son, you must not be working hard enough. But I remember the smell. I remember the smell of the greenhouse. I remember the smell. I would go on my 30-minute lunch break into Mr. Freeman's office because it was air conditioned. He had a vinyl couch, and I could sleep and rest and dry off resting
in that couch.
on that couch. And I can remember the smell of his office and the fertilizer. And
wow. Do you have any childhood friends back then?
Oh, I have a lot of them. One of them's name's Bobby Garner. He joined the Air Force, and he flew fixed wings and helicopters. We stay in touch. I had another childhood friend, still lives. This is in Fitzgerald, Georgia, where I grew up.
Okay.
So I grew up, I was born in Anderson, Indiana till I was 5, moved to Fitzgerald. Then I moved to Albany. I finished high school in Albany, went to Darton College. And after Darton, I went to Georgia Southern. And then my dad retired at an early age and moved out of the city. And I ended up ultimately in Columbus. Not right away, but I'm not from Columbus.
Okay. So you grew up in this country town neighborhood almost.
Yeah,
right?
I did.
What about your growing up, or what values did your childhood teach you that you carry on today?
Well, I don't know if it was then. It's hard to remember. It's so much relying on your parents. What kind of discipline they teach you, how they train, what kind of questions. But I think I've picked up some of the skills that my parents taught me, and I can see even back then that I was consistent in this. My daddy always said, "Son, if you have more than one friend in life, you're really blessed." And my dad and my mom would teach me what it's like to be a good friend. You can't just be on the receiving end of being a friend.
Sure.
So if somebody, you have to ask questions.
Sure.
You're good at asking questions.
Thank you.
And I think that helps build relationships.
Yeah.
That's something I carried along with me for sure about other people.
Let's talk about business, because you have been an entrepreneur for a while now.
23 years.
23 years. Yeah. And let me just say, hats off to any entrepreneur, because it is not an easy job.
It's not,
But it's worth it because it gives you the ability to do more for people.
Yeah, it does. If you're purpose driven,
right,
you're following your heart, you're following the God-given talent and skill that you feel called to. There's not too many ways to fail. You can even run out of business and not be a failure.
Why start your business? What was missing from that world and entrepreneurship that you had to add your voice and start Anker Pay?
Well, I told you when I came in, this wasn't in our talk here on the podcast, but I've learned the most through my failures. And, also I've worked for a couple of people that I didn't think were making the right decision. They weren't doing it. It wasn't healthy. It wasn't good. One time I asked the boss, I said, can I do this for the customer? Can we do this as a company? Right. Before I could get out what I was going to ask, the customer asked me to go ask my boss. He said, no. I said, well, can I just explore it, and then when I said, well, can you explain to me why? And he said, John, because I said so. And that was a bad experience that kind of rubbed me wrong. And then again, I had another experience in business where customers were upset and I was representing a company that I didn't feel like was doing the right thing. And, I finally just went out on my own and said, this is the purpose I feel called to. I feel like if we can, and my wife and I had been through enough in our own marriage, through sickness and in health, that she said, I'm with you. You can quit your job now and go try this. You got to try it. And that's where we started, out of desperation.
And it's done very well.
Yeah, 23 years. We've been very blessed, and it was a standing truth that I used to say this about 3 or 4 years ago. We'd lost money more years than we'd made money, but thankfully we made more money. Yeah, we've made money more consistently in the last 3 or 4 years than we ever had in the past. Good. So that data and that statistic starting to change, but. Back when I started a business 23 years ago, small businesses didn't survive past 5 to 7 years. That was a cycle, and I don't think the cycle's gotten longer. I think it's gotten shorter. Sure. And if you look at the average data and statistics of a guy starting a new restaurant, starting a landscaping company, starting a podcast, having a mission to be a media specialist, it's not easy. There's a lot of competition, but this country allows for you to make your own choices and try to navigate those variables that are extremely hard.
Yeah, I love that. So now you've thrown your hat into city government, and I wonder why now? Like, what was missing? Again, what was missing from city government that you had to add your voice?
I didn't just do it now, but I'm not a politician. Okay, but I did it back in 2020, and I'd reach just a frustration level, and I've talked about this a lot.
Yeah, and frustration for what exactly?
Well, I'd been talking about workforce development. I'd been talking about the south side of Columbus. I've been talking about our city government, not making it easier and incenting business to start. Now, I'm not asking for much. I'm just asking them to give me the rules that are applied to everybody for business license and certificate of occupancy, having a safe environment. I'm just asking if I pay my city taxes, when I get robbed or somebody breaks into our building, for the police to show up. I'm just asking for the streets to be clean and trash, so when I bring somebody from out of town to drive out Caseta Road to our facilities, that it looks a little better. Yeah. And these were the things that back in 2020, I said, enough's enough. I'm going to run for mayor.
Yeah.
And I lost that race. And then I
Yeah.
ran again 2 years later. I lost that race. And then
Yeah.
I got appointed recently. That's the now you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't ask for the job. I just stood at the podium and just said, look, here's business owners all around us. You know, we still are not getting the service that we all feel like we've been paying for. It's not just business owners, it's employees, it's a whole family
workers,
of workers.
Well, you know, John, I guess the question to people would be, well, you've got your business, you've got money, you've got, you know, you don't want for anything.
Yeah. It's not true, but okay.
But you know, people will say that. People will say
Right.
that. Well, why worry about the other guy when you're doing okay to other people?
I would say I'm a little bit of an idealist. I would say that I didn't get in this for the money. I didn't start a business for the money. I started it for a purpose. I started it for a different ideal. I started with a vision
For
in
the
mind.
people.
Well, yeah, that's a cliche.
Yeah.
And you've said it several times here. I hate to say it because it's such a cliche. I'm not doing this necessarily for the people. I'm doing it because I feel called to do it. But if it helps the people, that's what the calling was for.
I like that.
I don't like to say it because it's dangerous.
I like that.
Oh,
John.
he's not doing that for the people. He's doing it for himself. You know, all those years of struggle, I could have gone on under and lost everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
And I would say even in the struggles were the times that I was the most blessed. That my wife and I, weaker marriages, would not have made it through some of the things we've been through together. My children have watched us cry and be in pain over decisions and poorly executed. So, I went forward. You say I had no wants. Why politics now?
Yeah. Yeah.
I went forward because I don't want to leave this city. I see the wonderful legacy and history of Columbus, Georgia. And I've got a history book on my desk that talks about Aflac.
Wow.
They started their business, and this book was printed in 1976 on my desk. And in 50 years of doing business, I think, in 1976, Aflac was doing $10 million in revenue. And I look at my little bitty old Anker pack and say, so you're telling me there's a chance? I'm doing just a little over $10 million a day, but Aflac's probably doing $25 billion every single year today.
Yeah.
And look at the impact they made in our community. Look at the people. Look at their intent to do more good.
Sure.
To help more people.
Yeah.
So I did not want to leave Columbus, and I wanted Columbus to get their act together. So it's hard. It's muddy water.
How do we get our act together?
Well,
Because what I would imagine is that we need more people involved to say what the problems are so that we can fix them. But is that all that we need, or what else do we need to get our act together?
we need to be able to have a relationship with each other, be good neighbors. We need somehow. There's not a good media for people to understand what's going on. You know, for me, I go to my breakfast table and I go to a certain lunch every now and then. I'm around other community leaders. We seem to know what's going on in the city, even if we're not in politics.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, they got families. They're driving to work, driving home. You know, they don't turn their TV on, or if they do, the news, local news, is not reporting it. You know, I want to talk about jail. I've asked every interviewer over political season, let's talk about the jail. They don't want to talk about it. Doesn't seem like if there's no yearning and pull for the information, then they're not getting the information. So I think engagement is extremely important. I wish I had a clear answer for that.
Yeah.
But I can tell you by experience what has worked for me, and that is to get together consistently in small groups of people to talk about different things. That would be talk about the school system and the school board and our money on property tax and how we utilize it, where we spend it. Talk about the city government, the parks and the rec, and the public safety and the different departments.
Right.
Talk about our neighborhoods. Talk about our culture. Talk about our people and our.
Yeah.
You know, if we were getting together in different small groups and different, I'm a member of several small groups, and that's where I get my information. It seems to not be pushed upon me by Facebook. It seems to not be what everybody else wants to hear. It seems to be more connected with the reality of what's actually happening day to day.
Yeah.
And we're missing that.
Why do you think people are leaving? Is it because of that?
Leaving what?
Leaving Columbus. Why do you think people are leaving Columbus and not
Who's leaving?
wanting to stay, like you saying, and want to make it better? Like, why is it?
I don't know a lot of people that are leaving. I think now you're seeing new people step up and say, hey, look, we've been doing it this way for all these years. We need to start asking different questions. We need to start asking harder questions. You'd have to tell me who's leaving, because I still know people that are coming into town. Our city is good. We love our city.
Yes,
you
we
love
do.
our city.
Yes, we do.
And I don't think it's bad. I just think we're missing the boat. We've been doing it this way for too long, and the dynamics have changed around America. And I don't care as much around America as I care about here and what we can do.
But why has it been allowed these problems to go on for so long, and nobody has said anything? Nobody has done anything?
Why don't you name some issues? Because I'll start naming them.
Well, you give me some. You give me some issues. Give me the main issue that you know is a problem that we just keep year after year going through, and nothing's happening.
The biggest issue that you're going to hear about and you're going to pay for, along with me, and that's the jail. It's the biggest issue in this city, and nobody wants to talk about it, and the media won't talk about it. I don't think anybody's leaving this town because of the jail, but they're going to pay for it. And you say
pay for, you mean like, give me an example of what we're going to pay for.
Well, right now we're planning on building the jail. The talk for the last 3 years has been to build a jail for over $500 million. That's $500 million. By the time we don't have that kind of money. So by the time we borrow the money and pay the principal and the interest payment every single year for 30 years, we will have spent nearly $1 billion, $1 billion. We've never built a piece of infrastructure like that. So when I say pay for it, you're going to pay for it. I'm going to pay for it. The city has to get the interest money from somebody. They don't print money. Our city does not have the ability to print it. In fact, we're not very good sometimes at collecting it and depositing it. All right, but if we have to go and raise taxes, you're going to pay it on your taxes. Now you say, I rent my house. I don't pay taxes.
Sure.
But they actually tax the business owners at a heavier rate than they do some of the household owners sometimes.
Really?
And so even though you got a frozen property tax, and some people have a frozen property tax, they have to carry that burden through other areas. So your rent goes up. The cost of your groceries goes up because the owner of the Piggly Wiggly gets taxed more, and he has to raise that price up another quarter, whatever it takes to pay the tax bill. So that's the biggest issue that nobody's talking about.
And how do we prevent this issue?
Well, it could have been prevented, should have been prevented for years. We've got, the old stockade. We've got 1935 jail. We've got 1985 jail that we're actually using. We have a 2001 jail that's in worse shambles than the rest of the jail. That 2001 is only a 25-year-old jail, and it's falling apart. It's shambles. This is not the sheriff's fault. Sheriff Countryman is a good sheriff. The city is the owner of that jail. We are the landlord. He's just the tenant. And he's screaming. He should be screaming, and you don't hear him. But he's very upset, and he should be. Why? He's not being given, taken care of his facility. So we need a different solution, and that's what the city's been talking about. This is what needs to change.
And what is that solution? Us going up and talking about it until something happens, or us being the citizens? Like, what is that solution?
Well, the first thing, I think you said it better. People need to be activated. People need to be engaged. They need to understand the facts. And the facts are our jail is substandard, and we need a solution. Personally, John Anker thinks you can't spend $500 million because you don't have it. And so even if we don't have the money to do my solution, borrowing less money is easier than borrowing more money. And so the solution is to build a new tower right next to the old tower.
Okay.
And that old tower 25 years ago was built in 2001 for $17 million. And the first month they moved in, the sheetrock fell off the wall in the shower because they value engineered it. They didn't put tile on the walls because they didn't have the money. They skimped on their budget. And so we would go over here and build this new tower matching that one, and it would cost $133 million. That's the difference in 25 years of inflation. A building that once cost $17 million, to do it right with new technology, to build it solid with tile on the walls is $133. Once you move those inmates over to the new jail tower that you just built, you go back and you'd have to remodel that old jail.
Which would be cheaper.
Well, cheaper. It would be cheaper than a new one, but it would still cost $105 million to do that. So you got $133 million and $105 million, and you're still in a used old jail.
Sure.
But you can do it with new technology. You can do it right. And the difference is a new jail would cost you about $30 million a year in principal and interest. The old jail would cost, remodeled with the new tower, would cost approximately $15 million. So between $15 and $17 million a year would be your savings. And with that money, you need to use your money wisely.
Right.
I like to tell the story about making better choices when it comes to a jail. Somebody asked me, well, John, why don't you just go look at the new jails and see how nice they are? And I said, no, I don't need to do that because I can't afford it.
Sure.
And in business, you know, I needed a new semi to deliver our products. We have our own semi and trailers. And I didn't go test drive a $200,000 semi because I knew I wasn't ready to sign up for that.
Yeah, right.
So I bought a used semi with 350,000 miles on it for $50,000. And it broke down on me, but I had the cash left over to fix it and maintain it, change the oil in it. It was safer. It had a tandem axle. It was more comfortable with an air ride seat and an air conditioner. The radio worked. It was automatic.
So what you're essentially what you're saying is we need to be smart with our money and not just waste it on things just because things are broken. We need to be smart with it. And that sounds like a reasonable, at least to me, it sounds like a reasonable concern that we're wasting money trying to buy a new jail while we can just fix up or be more flexible with the money we do have to get.
I would say that there's good arguments on building a new jail sometimes, and it might be smart on paper.
But is that what you're saying, though?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Okay. But I'm also saying it would be smart to build a new jail if we had the money. It'd be prettier, it'd last longer, different things, but we haven't instilled good disciplines in maintaining our buildings. And we've got a budget that can't afford it. And so you got to weigh the timing of the decision. And we've already taken on new debt, new promises, new taxes. We're maxed out on sales tax, on our property tax, and our appraisals are through the roof. So it's the timing of this jail is bad, but this can has been kicked down the road for over 28 years, and it cannot be kicked down the road anymore.
You know, families are struggling. Families are struggling with higher bills, and the insurance is through the roof, and all the grocery bills. I wonder. You kind of said it a few minutes ago, but I want you to hear from a different perspective. I wonder what can local government do today to fix those issues for our families, just regular citizens. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What kind of actions outside of saving money or being smart with our money? What kind of actions can local government do to lower the costs for people? That's a really, really good question. First off, I think people ought to get engaged in all level of politics, but we'll talk about local first. But I actually want to go all the way up to the federal. Okay.
Because I do believe it
starts there.
No, I believe it starts here.
Okay.
But I believe the effects of our high cost of living are also at the federal level.
Oh, okay.
And the reasons I would say the federal level is that the federal government prints money, and when they print more money, because we're not on the gold standard, this is going to be something people aren't interested in hearing, but you devalue the dollar. So if you got more dollars chasing fewer goods, that's called inflation. Every time we print more money, we devalue the dollar. So every time you make $10 an hour, if that's what it is, or $100 an hour, it's worth less today than it was yesterday because they're printing more up at the press in Washington, D.C. And that's just not a good practice. But this is what the world has done. This is how we've been voting.
Right.
Today, our debt's $39 trillion on our nation, and our GDP, our output, is less than that for the first time ever this year. And that's not healthy for affordable living for citizens. So citizens got to start engaging and understanding the power of their vote. Now, I'm not going to tell you how to vote, but I am going to tell you what I think, and I want the same thing you want. Now, I'll go back to local government now. Local government has to do a better job also of managing our funds. And so, one of the things that's real frustrating for people is that they're renting an apartment, and that apartment rent just went up $100. Then their electric bill went up some, and their water bill just went up $5 for the landfill fees. All these things add up, and their wage didn't go up. And see, I recognize this because I'm an employer, and I talk to people, and I see the struggles. And I could talk about our work family team, but directly related to cost of living is the way the governments are spending money.
Right.
So we always pour more in the top, and we don't cut at the bottom, and we always tax more to get more. So this jail, if we don't have the money, we're going to raise the property tax on the apartments, and those apartment owners have no choice but to pass it through or sell it. And if they sell it.
Well, outside of money, what other things can local government do to lower these prices outside of money?
Well, you give me an idea of I don't want to have fixed pricing. I don't want to have government provided grocery stores. That is not the way that America finds democracy. Now, I want to help people that are hungry for sure.
Sure.
And I want affordable food and milk that's cheap, but the way we fix it. See, this is the difference. I think I mentioned it earlier offline. There's a lady who comes to the public agenda a lot and talks on behalf of a group she represents, and I like her. She knows I say this. We agree on what we want. We just don't agree in the process. So she wants the government to do certain things to provide for people she represents.
Right.
And I want to incent people to make better choices on a daily basis and get to it in a different fashion. I want to incent people to make better choices more consistently. And part of that is understanding how money works. And the government could talk about these things more.
But they don't.
We need to lower our yearly budget from $410 million today. It wasn't too long ago, we had a limit on our budget for the city of $50 million. And every year it's growing at a rapid pace. And I've said we need to lower our budget by 2% a year for 6 years. If we could lower our budget for 3 years, 2% a year, that's 6%. If we lowered our budget by 6%, we'd be able to lower our millage rate or our property tax to the individuals by 6%. If we did that, it might start to be a trickle-down effect where at least your prices weren't going up as fast.
Right.
But the federal government have to do it too. The state government, the state of Georgia is actually doing really well to lower taxes on behalf of Georgia citizens. So we just need to
we need to do better.
We need to do better together, and these things affect cost of living.
They do. You mentioned in a Q&A the need for a culture shift in the city government. What behaviors or attitudes or practices do you believe need to change in terms of culture?
Well, if you look at our city government, well, first off, I'm different than a lot of people who are leading our government today.
Okay.
And, you're proud of your brand and your culture and what you're developing. I'm proud of our team of a family at Anker Pack.
Yeah.
And I think we do things differently. We look differently. I think our family at Anker Pack, our team members like coming to work every day because we have that kind of culture. We give grace, but we also give authority for people to make decisions. And if they make a mistake, we work with them. We just say, please don't make that same mistake again. You know, and in the old school of our city government that's been led by a lot of the same people over and over, it's not been that way. And so it's just a different dynamic. I talk about an acronym I like to use now. and it's called STC, Service to Citizens.
Okay.
And so we're going to have a new city manager. He just got announced. We
He
hadn't
did.
voted on him, Tyson Begley.
Yep.
So after that was announced, Tyson called me the next day, and the thing I asked him about, he's got some very good administrative skills. He's got a lot of organizational skills. He's highly educated. Maybe he's got a resume, all these other things. But one thing that's important to me is how is he going to shift in the culture to get the team functioning together? We have good employees in the city. I don't think anybody dismisses that we have a lot of employees, but we have a lot of good employees. And I think a good leader will bring out and hold people accountable, but also give them the authority to do their job without micromanaging them. That changes a culture.
Right.
And ultimately, if you do it right, from the leadership standpoint, from the teammate standpoint of the city workers, the citizens can feel it. If you're doing a culture right, you can't fake it. When people walk in the Anchor Pack and they meet the employees and they talk to them, I can sit on the outside and do a good sales pitch. But unless they come inside and meet the employees and see the production, and then if they give us the business and they get delivered good value on time at a fair price, they know the culture's real.
They can
and
feel
that's
it.
what they can feel it. They receive value out of it.
So
So that's what I mean by changing the culture in the city.
it's authenticity.
Yeah.
Being authentic.
Well, and it's a skill to lead. It's a servant leadership. It's not a dynamic that you do what I say when I say, and you don't have the authority to make that decision. Every decision comes to me. These are small details, just stuff I'm talking about. Because it's hard to talk about culture without giving some examples of what I don't agree with and what I do agree
I understand. You said that the city has received over $200 million in additional revenue each year.
Right.
Every year. Yet, many citizens don't feel they're seeing enough value. Where specifically do you believe taxpayers aren't getting their money's worth?
Right. Well, and also, I kind of remember saying that.
Okay.
But I can speak more directly to the Columbus city government.
Okay.
And that $200 million is between the school system and
Okay.
the Columbus city. I actually think I said that the school system and the city gets over $200 million more today than they got in 2018. And if you just look at the city by itself, our budget, how many years ago now? 8 years ago, was $100 million less than it is today. Plus, today, the amount of debt load that we're carrying for building, and we're doing some of this out of different areas.
Right.
But the fact is our budget has swelled tremendously. We're spending a lot more money. It's not just inflation, it's our spending habits. It's that we're pouring more in the top and we're not streamlining and making it more effective. So on the service side, I think I alluded that people don't feel like they're getting the extra value for the amount of extra taxes they're paying. So, I heard a young man named Corey say recently at the public agenda that, hey, you're raising my trash bill again. He's seeing the results of the bill he pays. Now, on that water bill comes the trash, the landfill fee, and the fees associated with it. So he sees that, but he also sees that if you're going to increase it again, why don't you give me back my service? Because we've shrunk the service down a little bit. We're trying to do more with less. And ultimately, I think this election is going to show if people are happy or not. If they want to go back to the same,
they will.
They will. What?
Yeah. You're saying if they want to go back to the same, they will. But if they don't, they would do some change.
They might want some change.
Yeah, but John, I'm young. I'm 28, so
are young.
I'm very young.
That's right.
What do you say to the young people? And I've asked every candidate or anybody in the city council this. What do you say to young people who say, you know what, I'm just tired of voting for what I believe is right just to get the complete opposite and nothing happens? What do you say to young people who are just tired of
Thanks
this
for asking.
this like cycle of every election season there's something wrong. Every year there's something wrong. Every time we have a meeting there's something wrong. Why can't we just get it right?
Yeah. Well, first off, I'd say they live in a great land of America, and they're privileged. And even if you're poor, you're privileged to be in America. And with that privilege and to vote also comes the duty. And it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not about if you feel good or you like me or you hate me. There comes a duty. Now, I got a text last night from somebody who I don't think really likes me. But she said, John, I'm going to vote for you, and don't you ever talk to me about this, this, and this. But the fact is, I don't think she feels good about voting for me necessarily because of like. But she's listening to some principle or something I believe in that she thinks will be better for the majority of citizens.
Sure.
So I would tell you, a 28-year-old that doesn't like the process of politics, doesn't want to be involved in it, first off, a contract is well balanced.
Yeah.
And the good side is you're privileged to vote. The bad side is you have a duty to vote. And so don't go on your feelings. Don't go on likability of a politician. Just go out and do your duty and get over it. I mean this with all sincerity.
Yeah,
just get over it.
Sure.
And government is the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, too many times the media, these campaign managers, we try to hold people up, we try to make them look a certain way, and we want success, we want something to change, but government is extremely hard. You got to be really crazy, and I don't need to go down that road.
Yeah,
it's a mess.
Yeah, but
I just tell you,
but you're not. Go ahead.
Just go vote. You don't have to tell anybody. You just tell them, look, I didn't feel great about it, but I did my duty, and I chose one.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do.
Yeah.
So that's why I say
But I guess what I'm asking is, how can I have confidence? So you got a group of young people, and particularly young people. Right. You got a group of young people who will vote regardless. They will do their duty.
Yeah, good.
But I guess what I'm asking
is... we
is...
only had 36,000 vote last month out of 140,000 registered voters. So not that many young people.
Not that many, you're right. But I believe it's going to get better. It's going to get better.
I hope.
What I'm saying is I'm confident in my vote. But what I'm not confident in is that my vote's going to change the systems that are broken. Because it seems like every time the election comes around, we're back at square one. There's still things that have been happening for years that are still not fixed.
Well, here's one thing you need to hear.
Okay.
I understand. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to not go vote.
Yes.
If I don't vote and I complain to a politician, he's going to know if I vote or not. He doesn't know if I voted for him or her or if I didn't vote.
Right.
They'll know if I voted or didn't vote.
Right.
If they come to me complaining, it's harder to listen.
Yeah,
because they didn't try.
That's true. That's true.
And there's somebody who's in the arena fighting to do something. So first off, do your vote because it's your duty, and then secondly, stay engaged. Get in that small group of people, and then when you walk up to somebody, say, "Hey, look, I vote. I am a voter. You go check my ballot." And you can see that I pull a ballot in every election and I vote first. I want them to hear that. So tell your elected politician, look, I voted.
Yeah.
And you don't tell them who you vote for. Doesn't matter. You did your duty.
Right.
And then because of your engagement, you start asking the questions. It doesn't change because of a vote. It changes because you're engaged. The voting is just the duty.
So what you're saying is go and vote, but then trust that your vote is going to change. Is that what you're saying?
No, I didn't say trust that your vote's going to change things. I said vote whether you like it or not. Okay. Because you're privileged to vote, yet you have a duty to do it. So I tell my little girls, toughen up, Buttercup, and just go do it. You can't complain until you vote, number one. Number two, and this is more important, you can't expect one vote to change everything. Look, whether I win or lose next week, I'm going to feel relieved because it's exhausting to be in politics. So as soon as the election's over, it starts a whole new cycle. And most people are just so doggone worn out. And I'm going to be worn out next week. And I don't care if I win or lose. I'm going to be relieved because that part's over.
Right.
But the fight never stops.
Yeah.
And so one vote doesn't change the world. Your engagement and your talking, these podcasts, these questions, these relationships, it is about relationship. It's not about one vote. So people got to stop pretending that one vote changes everything.
Got it. And they got to get involved.
Engaged. They got to know their neighbors. And I think you do it at the local level. We do it right here, not at the federal level, the state level. If we change our hearts and our minds and our community together, then we send a delegate up there and we keep pecking them up there too.
I like that. I like that. Let's talk about this this city manager thing, because you were one of the people that had a big part in removing our last city manager.
Yeah.
Tell me, what's the false narrative that people are saying about you in terms of this that is not true? Just clear it up. And what was your intention?
Yeah. Well,
that makes sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't really know too much about the false narrative. I know there's a lot of hyperscale emotions about it, and there's been some really ugly things said.
Yeah.
It hadn't really hurt my feelings at all.
Sure.
My intention on it was to do the right thing for the most amount of people, first off. Secondly, my intention is never to hurt anybody.
Sure.
I don't dislike our past city manager as a person. I don't really know him that much. I only see results. I only see results of our citizens,
sure.
cost of living,
sure.
The lifestyle. I see the results of business owners and the cost. I see the management culture, lifestyle. I see the list that I've experienced personally of management decisions and the way they're made to know that enough's enough and we need to move on. The quicker we move on, the quicker the city's going to recover.
Right.
So that.
So you weren't trying to attack the person.
No,
you were trying to attack the system.
So anybody says I was attacking the person, they know better than that, or they're just listening to somebody they haven't heard me say that.
Sure.
It was never about attacking the person.
And just for the record, okay, because you know this has been said, you are not a racist man.
I love to talk about race.
Okay.
I love to talk about race.
Okay.
We don't talk about it, together enough. How about that?
I love that. Yeah. We don't talk about it enough. And we assume that people have this false agenda against us as black people, but they don't. We don't get a chance to get to know each other.
And, one of my best partners and friends in the political arena, and it's not even political anymore, is Byron Hickey. And he is one of my best friends. And I wish I could tell you somehow how all of our phone calls go and how sincere it is.
Yeah, I believe it.
But, we talk about race a lot. And it's easier for me and him to talk on a private conversation. And I don't know what it's like to be Byron Hickey.
Sure.
And but we have a trusting relationship that's sincere and authentic.
Sure.
And so I can listen and to him, but he can also listen to me. And he knows I'm sincere and authentic and sometimes a little passionate.
Sure.
And so I think that relationship and that kind of talk
is important.
Is very important. We all have a little bit of tendencies too.
We do. Yeah. That's true.
All of us.
That's true.
Yeah. We're born in a world of sin, aren't we?
That's true.
Okay.
That's true. Data center. Yeah. What do you feel? Are you for the data center, not for the data center? And if you're for it, please give me an example of why you're for the data center and all that entails.
Yeah. Well, the data center is hard, but right now I'm listening, and I would say I'm leaning towards yes, and I would like to legislate on the things that are going to protect our citizens and help our city. So whenever you're looking at any decision, just like a new jail, as I was mentioning, when you're looking at a data center, you have to weigh the whole project. You have to weigh, and this is what everybody's talking about, the energy cost, the water usage, the sewage, the
increasing costs,
the noise, the infrastructure, and then what we're not talking about is the positive side, and that's the money.
Okay.
And if the data center wasn't about the money, there would be no data center because nobody wants to do anything without the money.
That's true.
That's how if it was not about the money, I'm not a money guy. I'm a total, what's the value to the citizens guy.
Okay.
So I'm prepared to say no. I've got a list I'm carrying in my phone of restrictions that somewhere down the line, not on the overlay district. I think I'm pretty prepared to move forward on the overlay district with a few small minor modifications. But then when it gets down to a specific site, I have a list of 10 to 15 different things that are really critical that I would say no on. So it's probably going to be a 9-step process to get a data center. If we move past step 0, we're on step 0.
Right. We're just talking about it.
We hadn't even gotten the overlay district.
Right.
Then there's step 1, step 2, step 3. I would go as far as step 3 before having some hard lines in the sand on step 3 to say no. So that's where I am right now. I've got my list of no's in my pocket, and I'm waiting till the draw the line stand. But if we don't leave home base, step 0, it doesn't matter what I think.
Let's say there's an empty room, and in this empty room is the little John, the one who was on that dirt road, and he is waiting on the now John to enter this room and give him a piece of advice. Based on all that you know now, what would you tell that little John?
Man, that would indicate I have a hard time with that. That would indicate I have regrets. I think I've said this before. I hadn't really thought backwards that much. You know, that's what makes life go so fast when you're 28 and you're 30, you're 40, 50. You keep thinking about how can I make a better impact, you know, on life in the future and leaving with my kids, my grandkids, you know, the city. But I don't have many regrets. I think I would tell Big John, don't worry about your failures. You're going to be all right. You're going to learn from your failures. You know, stay committed and true. We know God built you this way. You're going to be all right. I would just encourage Big John not to be so afraid. You know, going through middle school, going through high school, I tell people all the time, I didn't make B's in college. My wife would remind me, you need to tell them you never made an A in your life. And you rarely made C's.
Same here, man. We're in the same boat. We're in the same boat.
Well, and Little John would tell Big John, don't worry about what the world tells you have to do to succeed. You know, a teacher might give up on a Little John because he fidgeted in his desk a lot. Yeah. And he was outside the realm of what she wanted for the perfect kid, the perfect student. Yeah. But God gave that man a gift and a pursuit. And I think I struggled in those years maybe trying to decide, am I really fit for this? Maybe I just need to go back and dig ditches. And it takes patience, persistence, consistency in life. Yeah. And I would just remind myself, and I would remind others that the curve of life is not like this. It's not this graph that you get better every day like this. The curve of life goes flat for a long time, and then it goes up like this. And that comes with wisdom, consistency, dedication, endurance, perseverance. Yeah. You know, joy, happiness, sadness. Yeah. Struggle. And it takes a lot of time to realize we're pretty tough.
Yeah, sure. At the end of your life, what do you hope people have said, and what have you hoped that you've done at the end of your life?
Yeah. You know, more of my older friends are closer to the end of their life than my breakfast table. And they'll hear this, and they'll laugh about it because we talk about it. Okay. And going to funerals makes you reflect a little more.
They do make you reflect on life.
And so I'd have to think about my funeral, and I'd have to think what I'd like people to think and remember. And, you know, relationally, I'm changing in my life to where it was, you know, just me and my wife, and it was our team at Anchor Pack, and now, you know, and my children, and then my team at Anchor Pack, and now it's getting to my granddaughters. So I want to instill more of these values. I want to be a little idealistic and talk about how America could do things differently, how we could, you know, make changes in our country and in our community
Yeah.
that had long-lasting impacts that help us sustain longer. I just want to be a good steward of the gifts God's given me. I want to be relational. I don't want AI to take that, Facebook to take it, anybody to take it from us. And I think that's one reason I'm in the local side of the politics. And even if I lose, I'm going to stay relational. I'm going to stay engaged.
Love that.
And I'm going to keep talking on the things that my daddy taught me that I think are important to help all people.
Love that. Well, Mr. John, I have had a good time talking to you. And I hope and pray that wherever life takes you, you continue to be who God created you to be. And I'm so glad we got to sit down today.
Thanks, Matthew. I want you to come over and meet our Anchor team and walk around and feel culture.
I would love that. I would love that. Thank you so much, Mr. John.
You too, buddy. See you.
Brought to you by MSW Productions.